All right, hello and welcome to round 14 of GP Prague. We have Toral Severin on our left, Fabrizio Campanini on our right. And you know what, Toral Severin, he's doing really well in this tournament in every round where he has not played Pascal Viren, because both of his losses are to Pascal Viren in the finals of the first draft and in the first round of this particular draft. So let's see if he can get back to winning games. He's going to face off against the Italian Fabrizio Campanino. And it's Wandering Champion against the Necromancer, Apprentice Necromancer.
So the Necromancer can return any creature back from the graveyard just for one turn. Then you have to sacrifice it, but there are plenty of powerful creatures with strong enters the battlefield abilities that you could bring back for just a turn and get a bunch of value.
Oh, Shielding Plaques from Toral Severin. He's going to try to protect his Wandering Champion, but I don't anticipate him attacking here. So basically got hexproof, right? That's how it works.
Yes, pretty much. You can also put Shielding Plaques on an opposing creature, so that even the opponent cannot target it anymore due to the way it's worded. But
Slum Reaper. That's a way to deal with these sorts of creatures.
All right. Oh, and he sacrifices the Slum Reaper, not the Necromancer, because then the Necromancer can bring back the Slum Reaper to have another force sacrifice, as we are likely going to see here, because that angel over there, it's a powerful one.
Yeah, I'm surprised Thorov actually exposed it to the Necromancer there.
Maybe he didn't have anything else to play.
Yeah, and a Canker Abomination as a 4-mana 6/6. I mean, it seems like there's quite a few cards in Toral Severin's hand. What does he have here? 4-mana Lotus Eye Mystics. Yep, he could have played that the previous turn. I think he had in his hand, so he's going to return the Shielding Plaques. Also play a Hyena Umbra.
All right.
It's not bad. Still not big enough.
Not big enough to block the Canker Abomination and live. But it's a start. I believe Toral's deck does have Daybreak Coronet in it. So
he does.
So anytime you are loading up a creature with an aura, it could turn into a massive monster on the next turn.
Yeah, plus he steals the Shielding Plaques that he just brought back, so potentially on his turn Torov can go Shielding Plaques plus the Daybreak Coronet, and I believe the Lotus Eye Mystics also have prowess.
Yep, they do.
So that will be a very big attack here. So Fabrizio Campanini is probably just going to try to take things a little slow here. Has a Satyr Wayfinder. Already finds land, Crow Dark Tidings, a Swamp, and a Gurmag Angler, so he's going to take one of the basics here. Good old Satyr Wayfinder.
Yeah, and while putting two creatures into the graveyard could matter in case he casts Spider Spawning at some point.
And he does have it in his hand.
Yeah.
Also a Sanitarian Skeleton that can do a really good job of blocking a creature for a really long time.
So far at the moment, Fabrizio seems to be pretty far ahead. And
look at that. So Prey Upon.
Yeah, this takes out the possibility that Torolf can just put Daybreak Coronet onto his creature on the next turn. Daybreak Coronet, it gives +3/+3 as well as a soup of abilities. But you can only target a creature that already has an aura on it.
Correct. All right. But we know that Torolf does have the Shielding Plaques in hand, so he could play that on the Mystics and draw himself a card. And see where that leads him.
That could work. Although there is this Sanitarium Skeleton that can just act as, say, an infinite chump blocker.
Unfortunately, until Torolf maybe finds a Flight of Fancy or something similar.
Yeah, but it might be better to put those auras onto a flyer in the first place.
True. Let's see if he has one. I'm surprised he really did expose the Sublime Archangel in that way. Not sure if that would have mattered. Possibly. I mean, the Prey Upon and the Hyena Umbra interactions. Fabrizio might have fired off might have done something else, of course. So we won't quite know. So I think, it looks like Torov will start off with the Sky Spear Cavalry. Maybe next turn, Shielding Plaques it up and then Coronet the Cavalry.
Yeah, this is not only a flyer, but also a flyer with double strike.
Indeed.
So any power boosting auras you put onto it are twice as effective.
Yeah, and Fabrizio, I think players, because this is the featured pod, players did get the pools from all the players. So Fabrizio, I think, knows about the Daybreak Coronet, so maybe that's another reason why he played the Prey Upon to get rid of the Hyena Umbra.
Yeah, for sure. That must have been on his mind.
So he has a Pulse of Murasa.
Okay, then you can return something from the graveyard, gain 6 life.
It's going to be the Apprentice Necromancer.
So this threatens, let's say, another Slum Reaper activation.
Or potentially Gurmag Angler. Probably not.
Just for a turn.
Yeah, there's the Shielding Plaques.
Uh-oh.
There's the Coronet.
Oh, yeah.
So it's 5 power, double striking, life linking goodness. And the Mystics as well.
Well, the attack with... Oh, yeah, the Mystics, it is 4 toughness right now, thanks to prowess. So it is a relatively safe attack. But wow, this cavalry, it is a 5/5, flying, double strike, lifelink, vigilance. Well, yeah, first strike, I guess, too, but that doesn't really matter when you already have double strike. And the Shielding Plaques means that it cannot be targeted. So this is a very menacing creature to deal with for Fabrizio.
Yeah, I mean,
you're not going to be able to block it, thanks to flying. It is getting in for 10 a turn. You can't target it thanks to the Shielding Plaques. How are you getting around this?
Yeah, look, it's the Toro 7 jumps up to 17 life. Yeah. The one good thing going for Fabrizio, the fact that he has the spider spawning means that he can actually have a lot of blockers available for the cavalry. But if Toro 7 is gaining a large amounts of life, he's not going to get that far. And I think Torov also has quite a few cards left in his hand. He hasn't played too many lands, and bringing back the Shielding Plaques also gives him a few cards to work here and there. No trample anywhere. Just yet. Yeah,
where's a Rancor when you need it? Not in this format, I guess.
Not in this set, yeah.
One way to get around this, if Fabrizio had an enchantment removal spell, he could destroy the Shielding Plaques, and then the Daybreak Coronet would also fall off, because it can no longer enchant it. But that would require some kind of disenchant effect, and I don't think Fabrizio has one. It's just a spider spawning.
Yeah, so Fabrizio is doing the math here. How many spiders am I going to get? What are they going to accomplish? Because we've seen, like, you can put a lot of spiders in front of creatures, to try to take down the other side of the board, and sometimes it can be successful.
How many spiders do you actually need to take down a 5/5 double striker? So this is quite a puzzle. But so
you need 5 of them to survive to get to regular damage, right? So that's where you can start. And you need then how many more to get through the first strike?
Well, 3 more, because each spider has 2 toughness.
Yeah.
So if you're able to get up to 8 spiders, and then is there a word for that? Like octuple block?
Yeah,
like block with all 8. Then 2 spiders would die with first strike damage, and then there is still 6 left to deal with the flyer when we get to regular damage. So that's the plan.
It might be just 7 though, right? Because it's 5/5, so it kills 2 spiders in first strike.
Correct. Yeah,
7.
Yeah. Correct.
Yeah, Chad also doing the math. Everything is checking out. That's great. All right, so Necromancer being activated. Bring back the Crow. All right, it looks like Fabrizio's just trying to get as many spiders as possible. Look at that, mills 2 creatures. Maybe he'll get to 7 spiders. Of course, that's 7 considering that Torov doesn't do anything else.
Yep.
It doesn't add another aura or something like that.
So milling a bit more. Yeah. All right, so now the graveyard is filled up. That's going to be a lot of spiders on the next turn.
Yeah, indeed. He's going to get a deranged assistant, and still, I think Torov has 1 more Umbra in his hand. I think it's the Eel Umbra.
So it gives +1/+1.
Yep, and I think he has Just the Wind as well. So definitely has things to do.
So when it turns into a 6/6 double striker, then it's gonna shoot down 3 spiders in the first strike damage.
And you need an extra one. You need an extra one to kill it in regular damage.
Yes. So that means that you would need 9 then in total. 10 to get around the Just the Wind.
Yep. There's the spider spawning. How much is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7.
It's not
7
enough.
is not 10.
No. Well, Fabrizio doesn't actually know about the
yeah, of course.
like these extra Umbras or just the winds. And as we just calculated, like if Toralf has nothing, then 7 spiders on blocking duty would be enough. Wait, there's 7, right?
It should be 7 though.
Toralf was also checking. I thought he also saw 7. Okay.
That's
We're good.
Yeah, there it is. Yep, there's the spider. Well, the thing is, Fabrizio can block with just 1, and then we'll flash back the spider spawning and get like way more than enough.
That is definitely way safer, especially when you know that Toralf has just the wind and the Il Umbra in his deck.
Yeah, the thing is with the Il Umbra, actually, is just going totem armor. Well, like even those spiders will not be enough to take it down because the Il Umbra will then prevent the Skyspear Cavalry from dying and fall off, right? So he would then get a rebuy. All right, there's an attack,
true.
Gaining 5 life, because remember, even though it has double strike, if the creature is not in play when regular damage resolves, nothing is being dealt here. So quite interesting. Turtle 7 also has a Revelark. Ronom Unicorn gets added to the party.
This game is just incredible.
Yeah, I think it's going to. I think it's going to go on for a while as well.
Yes.
It's like I don't see any way like how these players are going to like line up everything here. It's pretty insane. Oh, maybe time to eat the abomination. We'll see.
At this point, I'm sure Fabrizio would be happy if it actually goes to the graveyard. It's not a spider.
Yeah, true.
You probably don't want to block it with the 5/5 double striking monstrosity. You could triple block it with the Lotus Eye Mystics, Ronom Unicorn, and Deranged Assistant if you don't want to be taking any damage here.
There's the Il Umbra. Does have flash, so it eats up the Canker Abomination, gains him 6 life. Throw off up to 21. There we go.
It works. It does, tell Fabrizio what you were up to.
Mm-hmm. Fauna Shaman added to Fabrizio's side of the board. He can possibly start churning it through his deck.
All right.
Not sure what he can find there, but at worst case, he can add a bunch of creatures to the graveyard for bigger spider spawnings.
If you can get that Sanatorium Skeleton into the graveyard somehow, then he can keep discarding that to the Fauna Shaman to get a free creature every turn.
He's going to attack here. It's like a cheeky attack for 1 with the Sanitarium Skeleton.
I'm pretty sure Toralf would catch onto it.
Fiend Hunter, that's interesting. Remember, as I said, Toralf 7 does have a Revelark in his hand.
No, so that's why he is blindly milling himself.
There's a big attack. 1 more spider hits the dozen. I mean, Fabrizio can block for so many turns. I think, do you think maybe Toralf can get up to a 100, like in this game?
I
can see it.
I wouldn't be surprised. Does he even have enough cards in his deck to have that many combat steps?
I'm really not sure. There's the Revelark.
I mean, he probably does. Yeah. Up to 100 is an actual possibility. And at some point, Fabrizio, wouldn't he be interested in lining up all of his spiders as blockers?
Possibly. I wouldn't know. Especially because of the Umbra, I guess. It's not very profitable, but he has to find a way to fight through it somehow.
But if you're just jump blocking every single turn, how are you winning the game?
I don't know. By decking or something. Decking your opponent. I mean, Toralf activated the range assistant a couple of times, but to be fair, Fabrizio milled himself with the Crow of Dark Tidings 3 times.
Yes.
Or 4 even. All right, up to 33 here.
And don't forget the Satyr Wayfinder. So, I haven't counted the libraries yet, but I think Fabrizio is actually the one getting decked if it comes to that.
Yeah. Yeah,
this is Ultimate Masters Limited in a nutshell.
I just found the worst Canker Abomination. I'm sorry. It's we literally die when it comes into play here because of the board. But it's like a nice bullet for Fauna Shaman.
Yeah.
At least I would love to go through Fabrizio's deck to just see what outs he has or what he can do.
Yeah, I would like to see that as well. So Canker Abomination would enter as exactly a 0/0.
Yep. Not very attractive as one. All right, so discarding Canker Abomination. Fabrizio is going through. Oh,
He's hiding the deck from us.
Yeah, we're just barely can't see that. Okay,
Oh.
he just goes.
Okay, I didn't see that one coming.
Okay, me neither.
But
I thought I saw like Artisan of Kozilek there, but it's
yeah,
just
and couldn't he just like flashback the spider spawning
Yeah, I
and just
think
line
so.
up like block with 12 spiders? The Il Umbra falls off next turn. I don't know. Try to do it again.
maybe I mean it did take like a substantial amount of time, maybe to get to that point. So maybe if I'm just thinking, okay, I'm gonna board in some enchantment removal, and I'm gonna try again in the next game, or maybe try to get the right Slum Reapers off or something. That was a little bit awkward there, but you can see the power of Daybreak Coronet, especially on a creature that has basically hexproof.
Yeah, and double strike and flying. Those elements definitely added to the power as well.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Toralf's deck. It has it's kind of a blue-white heroic deck, which is not something you see all that often.
True.
But well, he has the key piece. Daybreak Coronet is just like such a powerhouse in a dedicated aura or heroic deck.
All right, game 2 here. Fabrizio Campanino down a game to Toralf Severin. Oh, Mistvale Plains. Look at that. Toralf has a plan to not get decked here. He can put cards on the bottom of his library if he has 2 other white permanents, if I'm not mistaken.
That is indeed what it does.
I know it because I did play Soul Sisters a little bit. Spider Spawning getting milled right away.
That's a good one to flip over. It's for 7 mana, some free spiders.
Yeah, good and bad at the same time. It looks like the Spider Spawning is very important in this matchup. Crushing Canopy also a cyborg card milled away that maybe Fabrizio would rather have it in his hand rather than in the graveyard. All right, 4 mana Slum Reaper. The ranged assistant is looking very threatening here. Looks okay. Oh, it's the mill, it's a land.
Yeah, just trying to mill some creatures for example, the Revelark in response.
Sure. Sacrifice the Crow to mill 2 more cards into his graveyard. It's only a land and prey upon. Not many creatures just yet. There's a Plume Veil from Toralf.
All right.
Not
And-
the best with Auras.
And this time Fabrizio did sacrifice the other creature.
There's
And
a Wandering Champion. This is gonna be quite interesting because I caught a glimpse of Toralf's hand and he has interesting cards.
What does he have?
I saw Mammoth Umbra,
All right.
which
So +3/+3 in vigilance.
I think he might have 2 actually in his hand. So
But they cost 5 mana.
yeah, exactly, and he's not there yet. He's also not the best on a Wandering Champion.
No.
It has more power than toughness, so it would only get up to 4 toughness, which is not that great.
Yeah, because then you have a 6/4 that just trades for the Slum Reaper. Or rather, the Umbra would trade for a Slum Reaper. But
He also has, I think, a Whirlwind Adept, which is great with Auras. But again, there's the trade.
yeah, but that's a plan, right?
Yeah, that is certainly
First,
a
you put down the Whirlwind Adept, then you load it up with an Umbra. And that one also has hexproof, which means that removal spells cannot break it up.
5th mana here for Campanino. Apprentice Necromancer.
Yeah, and there's still this Slum Reaper now in the graveyard. So Apprentice Necromancer could just be activated at any time to force both players to sacrifice a creature.
Resurrection on a deranged assistant.
What?
He
Well,
really
I-
needs the mana.
I have not seen this one before.
Yeah, me neither. 6 mana Gurmag Angler. Okay, I expected something better here. All right, never mind. The range. Oh, and now he draws land. He's like, oh man.
That is a waste of a resurrection.
I guess.
Although-
Maybe put a Mammoth Umbra on a Plume Veil. Make it just like a 7/7 brick wall.
On the other hand, because there is still this Apprentice Necromancer Slum Reaper interaction, basically any creature is valuable.
True.
Because the range assistant now kind of plays protection duty for the more important creatures that Toralf certainly does not want to sacrifice.
Mill's a Fiend Hunter again.
Could be relevant for that Revelark later in the game.
True. There's the Whirlwind Adept. So 5 mana 4/2 with hexproof and prowess. Mammoth Umbra on the Whirlwind Adept is a little better.
It would be better indeed, though it still trades for Gurmag Angler.
Yep. But at least with totem armor,
Yep.
you do some trades here and there. And what about 2 Mammoth Umbras? Plus it gets the prowess tree at least the turn when you cast it, so at least works its way up towards 6 toughness.
Like a very defensive play that Torolf does have access to, I'm not sure if it's correct, is to put up the Umbra on Plumeveil, just so you have a 7/7 blocker with Defender and Vigilance, great combination, but it does mean that the Gurmag Angler wouldn't be able to keep attacking.
There's a big swing with the Whirlwind Adept, so 8/6 attacker
Correct.
this turn because of prowess. Looks like Fabrizio hasn't had much going on this game.
You can always jump block with Necromancer, just briefly get back to Slum Reaper to force Torolf to sacrifice something.
I anticipate we might settle in for a nice long spider spawning game here as well. But there's not really many creatures in the graveyard, just 2 for Fabrizio. He's waiting for more stuff to do. Maybe he's gonna bring back the Crow of Dark Tidings with the Necromancer.
Yeah, load up the graveyard a bit more.
Yep. All right, we're gonna get Shielding Plaques time.
All right.
More hexproof.
So this is hexproof and pseudo hexproof.
Ooh,
and
but
the
he does
Daybreak
have a coronet. Boom. Okay, we've seen this before. Just a block, brings back the Slum Reaper, sacrifices the range assistant.
Yeah, that's an easy block.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't even gain the life because the Apprentice Necromancer was sacrificed.
True. Oh, Pulse of Murasa bringing back
Slum
Slum
Reaper.
Reaper. So now if Fabrizio draws a removal spell for the Plumeveil, that Whirlwind Adept is going down.
I think it was last gasp. Oh, last gasp. Just short because Plume is a 4/4, not a 3/3 or a 4/3.
One off.
One off being able to hang on to this, game.
Oh boy, that was fairly close indeed. If Plumeveil was a 4/3, this game would have looked completely different.
So the Whirlwind, how big is the Whirlwind Atom now? It gets +6/+6. So base rate is a 10/8.
Correct, with prowess
Yes.
and first strike
Yes.
and
Lifelink.
vigilance. Yeah, lifelink and hexproof twice basically.
Oh man, Fabrizio, buddy.
So what now? It depends on what kind of answers Fabrizio still has in his deck. If he doesn't have a proper answer to this Whirlwind Adept apart from the Slum Reaper, you may just have to wait. Maybe you draw a removal spell for the Plumeveil on the next turn, so that you can set up the Surefire Slum Reaper. You still have the spider spawning in the graveyard, although currently there's 2 creatures, I believe. So getting 2 spiders isn't great.
Yeah, so he's figuring out, okay, Slum Reaper, that takes care of the Plumeveil. And just a pass from Fabrizio Campanino.
I'm just not quite sure what his plan is at this point.
There's a Sublime Archangel. I mean, we know that might get him a last cast. Yeah, declare attacker. No, last caster guy. Now Fabrizio, this is the time. If you want to live, you need a Slum Reaper here or
Yep.
some reanimation effect.
If he has Death Denied in his deck, or maybe something like an Eternal Witness to bring it back from
Yeah.
the graveyard, that would work. But he's gonna need it now.
Yeah. Now or never. I mean, he can still like chump block the following turns, and he has the spider spawning, right? I mean, he's still like in decent shape. Is that Boneyard Worm? Oh, it's upping 3. So Crow of Dark Tidings, all right. Mills a land and a Ghoul Steed
It's another chump blocker.
to join the party. I think I see a God's Willing.
Oh, could just give the Whirlwind Adept protection from black and rumble in for the kill.
Is he gonna go for it? I'm not sure if it was that card. Might start off with the Lotus Eye Mystics, but he does have. You see, he's like, when he flicked through his cards, like I can play this, but like if I play the God's Willing here, I win. So he's Torov's considering like what could Fabrizio have here that would prevent this? Yeah,
I mean, it
it's
could be
God's
something
Willing.
like Crushing Canopy on
the
an
corner.
aura, maybe Pulse to gain 6 life, but
No.
then
God willing also gives like prowess. And there's the handshake. Torov Severin and his auras. He's undefeated against players whose name is not Pascal Verne. He's up to 12-2 and 1 match away from potentially making it into the top 8. We still have to say that this is not final.
But Daybreak Coronet does take it down for Torolf Severin.
Yeah, what a powerful card.
That enchantment basically won both games for him.
Almost on its own.
Yeah, and when you combine it with like ways to give your creatures hexproof or other protection, it is just incredible.
Yeah.
To Fabrizio's credit, he did his best with Slum Reapers, like trying to set up a sacrifice, but just couldn't really get there.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so that was Torov Severin basically eliminating Fabrizio Campanile from top 8 contention, but Torov is going to fight to live another day in the last round. We got way more Magic ready for you, and I mean we're not even done with the Swiss rounds, and the top 8 I'm sure is going to be pretty awesome. But before we get to that point, here are some messages before we come back with Live Magic. Welcome back to the booth. I'm your host, Matej Zalka, here with Frank Carson, and we've just seen Torov Severin claw his way into top 8 contention again. He's going to be fighting for it, but we got more players who are really, really close. We have Arne Huschenbett and Marco Both. Both are at 12 wins and 1 loss.
Exactly.
And we think the winner of the match that we're about to show you is going to make top 8, possibly being able to draw in the last rounds to make it in.
Very likely, but they will have to win this round in order to get there.
Ooh, what is this?
So Arne Huschenbett is one of the drafts that we watched. And wow, his deck was a spicy one. You see that
Yeah.
Laboratory Maniac in there. Arne Huschenbed is able of drawing his entire deck, maybe milling a bit more, and then using the Laboratory Maniac to turn drawing from a dead library into a win.
Yeah, I mean, he has so much card draw. Treasure Cruise ×2, Urban Evolution, Frantic Search, Think Twice, Reviving Vapors basically going through your library. This deck can really win with a Laboratory Maniac. I haven't seen too many of those decks that are usually about being powered by some dredge effects or something similar. This deck just is like a control deck that can kill you with the Laboratory Maniac. But there's also, of course, double Mahamotijin, Artisan Kozilek.
Yeah, this deck is just dirtling to the max. There's Archaeo Monster with Pulse of Murasa that you can loop to keep gaining life turn after turn. Just a splash for War Leader's Helix.
Nice.
With Mountain, one planes in your green-blue deck. This is either a masterpiece or a train wreck, and I haven't quite decided yet.
Yeah, I really want to see this deck play out. This looks amazing. All right, we're skipping right away to Game 2 because we know that Game 1 has been a train wreck for Arne Huschenbed. The game was over in less than 4 minutes, so we're going to, through the magic of Time Walk, show you Game 2. Arne Huschenbed firmly on the ropes here if he wants to come back into this match, and the range assistant on turn 2 is a nice way to get around things. And I already see a Kodama's Reach. Could we see a turn 4 Mahamotijin?
It is easily possible. I think he will be able to set it up if that deranged assistant lives for another turn. I mean, typically Mahamotijin, when it comes down on turn 6 as a 5/6 flyer, already dominates the board. On turn 4, that is just absurd.
Yeah, but Marco Both also with a great start with Wild Mongrel on turn 2. Looks like he has an aggressive red-green deck. If you get a Wild Mongrel in those, it's probably one of your best cards.
For sure. This creature synergizes particularly well with Madness or cards that are better in the graveyard. But even absent any of those synergies, the Mahamotijin got delayed by a turn.
Prey upon those Reviving Vapors being milled.
But even with absent those synergies, it's just a super efficient 2-drop that attacks for a bunch and always threatens.
Yeah, Treasure Cruise on turn 4 here, drawing 3 cards. Not bad.
No, definitely not.
Yeah, I like what Arne is doing here, and Marco just doesn't have much else going on. I know he has a Skazbek Marauders in his hand, but that costs 5, so he had to pass on 4 without doing much. And there's the Mahamotijin.
Well, hello.
Hello indeed. Oh, and now Marco draws a Reckless Worm. Oh, he's paying full retail. No, he found the Skazbek Marauders.
It just feels too bad to cast Reckless Worm there.
Yeah.
You can just discard it to the Wild Mongrel and cast it for 3 mana.
Sure. There's an Archaeomancer. Returning Treasure Cruise. Arne is just going through his deck at a very rapid pace there. It's the Mountain Doe.
Should I already start keeping track of the amount of cards in Arne's library? There is this Laboratory Maniac, so...
Well, we'll see if it becomes relevant. And he has plenty of cards in his hand, and we know that he can reload with the Treasure Cruise in one of his upcoming turn. He has plenty of mana. He's going to go up to 8 mana. There's a Kodama's Reach for Marco. And probably not the greatest card in a red-green deck.
No, typically you're drafting a green deck where either Kodama's Reach is going to be excellent, or where Wild Mongrel is going to be the greatest.
Sure. He does have a plan, though. He has an Artisan of Kozilek in his hand.
All right.
That is his long term. There were so many in this draft. All right, there's Treasure Cruise paying full retail, 8 mana there. Jeez.
So Artisan of Kozilek, that's 9 mana, and then you can return a creature from the graveyard as well. Definitely a card worth ramping into. Speaking of cards worth ramping into, this is not just your red-green aggressive deck that I thought from the Wild Mongrel.
Jeez, takes out the only planes in Arne's deck. So he won't be able to cast his War Leader's Helix. I don't think his Reviving Vapors already got milled, and maybe he can use a Pulse of Murasa to return a land.
Yeah, Pulse of Murasa can return a land card from a graveyard. So that is still possible. He can still cast his white cards if he does that.
Remember, Arne actually discarded to hand size after playing the second Treasure Cruise there, so he has a full grip of cards. I saw another Mahamoti Jin, but look at that. It must be feeling nice when you're playing limited and you're still on 16 life and you have a full grip of cards.
But at this point, Arne will have to put up a defense because Marco threatens to swing in with all of his creatures on the next turn, and then, well, either you want to trade for the Woodfall Primus somehow in a double block that doesn't seem particularly appealing, or you are just taking a lot of damage, even if the Mahamoti Jin, for example, blocks the Rectus Worm. Okay, 2 Jins. That's the start of a good defense.
Yep.
So now, like the all-out swing doesn't look as appealing anymore. But the Woodfall Primus as a 6/6 can still attack.
Yeah, there rumbles in for 6 here, and we're gonna see the Artisan Kozilek here for 9. Doesn't have anything to bring back though, so Marco Bot might just feel like this is a waste. But even then, it's a huge creature with Annihilator, which is kind of like the effect is already great against a deck that might not have anything to do. I think Marco has a Pattern of Rebirth.
I think so too. Like maybe the best creatures to get out of his deck are already in his hand or battlefield. But Pattern of Rebirth, card for an enchantment for 4 mana, enchant creature. If the creature dies, you get to search your library for any creature and put it onto the battlefield. Yep.
There's the Artisan of Kozilek. Arne has kept up 2 mana for Just the Wind. I think he's going to fire it off on the Artisan. Yep. Why not? He still has plenty of lands though. Even after 2 Treasure Cruises, he still might need some action.
Could Arne somehow transition into an aggressive stance where you just attack with both the Jins over the course of 2 turns? It's a 2-turn clock. If he can add some additional jump blockers to the battlefield, that might be a viable plan.
He has a Plume Veil. So that's certainly a viable plan, but he has to be careful about those tramplers because remember, Woodfall Primus also has trample. There's Urban Evolution, drawing 3 more cards. He also has a Frantic Search. There's a Frantic Search, draws 2 more. Remember, he can play an extra land this turn.
That library is getting smaller and smaller, and he already has the Laboratory Maniac in his hand. So that might be the game plan that he's currently thinking about.
He discards 2, untaps 3 lands here. He still hasn't played a land for his turn, I don't think. He has to think hard here. Alright, say he's basically, I think he's just trying to go for the Laboratory Maniac win here.
Yeah, almost surely.
Yeah, also because I like your aggressive plan here, but I just don't think he has the cards for it because so much of Marco's board is tramplers. He can't really chump block efficiently.
But that Woodfall Primus doesn't give Arne all that much time either.
Treasure Cruise again. He's really going for it.
No, I've already drawn 5 additional cards this turn. 6 if I count my draw step. Why not 3 more?
Yep. I'm gonna keep Frantic Search and Urban Evolution in his graveyard. If possible shenanigans. There's drawing 3 more cards. There's the Helix that he cannot cast a foil. Maybe if he has an island in hand, having the counterspell as an option is really important. Look at that. I think he has 6 or 7, yeah. He has Wayfinder, so that mills 4. He has the Lab Maniac in his hand.
Maybe if he can survive for 1 more turn.
Yeah, goes for Termorphic Expanse here. Go on.
Yeah, we might actually.
And I think now it was 7.
It looked like
very fast.
Yes.
This game's insane. Is he really going to win with Laboratory Maniac?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see it on the next turn.
Yeah, so there it is. So he even finds an island. There's a Rune Snag Living Lord. 3 cards?
3 cards remaining. So, on the next turn, if he plays Laboratory Maniac and another draw 3 spell, that would do it. Then you just win the game immediately.
Possibly here. There's the Hooting Mandrills for Marco here. But Marco doesn't... Like, his Woodfall Primus is great here. But does he have enough to win here? If he just swings with everything, those Mahamoti Jins do a great job of blocking the Marauders and the Reckless Worm. The Mongrel can get chump blocked, and still only the Primus coming in for 6. It's not enough.
No, but an all-out attack might still be fine. because at least you get to deal some damage. Then you follow up with an artisan. Maybe if a creature dies, you return it.
Yeah, he's eyeing that pattern of rebirth.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a reliable way of killing any of his creatures. And no matter what creature you put it on, Arne can just block it with the Archaea monster to make sure that it doesn't die. I don't think Marco will be able to set up lethal on this turn. He does have a lot of power worth of trample though.
Yeah, Arne is thinking about the foil here.
15 points of trample in total, but Arne has enough toughness. I'm not sure you need to counter it, given that Marco doesn't have a way of killing his own Skazbek Marauders.
Yeah, big swings here.
I would keep the foil for something like a Soul's Fire, for example.
I like that plan. It's a double block on the Primus. There's one block, there's another block, and the Skazbek Marauders are going to come through here. The Woodfall Primus can kill a Mahamotijin this way. And Marco's still thinking. He knows that like time is running out. Probably knows about the laboratory remaining at this point. He probably figured out that what is going on.
Yeah, given that this was the feature path, I believe the deck lists were exchanged at the beginning of the match. And even if they weren't, if you are somewhat experienced in Ultimate Master Sealed, you have to be cognizant of the presence of Laboratory Maniac in the format.
So here comes the Primus off of Persist. It's going to destroy a forest of Arne's. He's down to 3 cards in his library. He does have Laboratory Maniac in his hand, but he needs to be able to also draw when there's no cards left in his library to win the game with the Maniac.
That is true. If he has another card draw spell, that would do it. Pulse of Murasa, so you return Archaeo Monster, which can then return Treasure Cruise, would probably also do it.
What does he have?
Can't quite make out his hand.
This is tense.
I mean, he'd better try to win this turn, because I think he'll have a very hard time surviving another attack.
Yeah, there's so much stuff going on here. I mean, the Hooting Mandrills, they have trample, so does the Primus and the Skazbek Marauders, so not many chump blocking opportunities here. What are you going to do, Arne Hushenbeth?
When Arne's deck comes together, it does look like an absolute masterpiece.
Pulse of Murasa on Archaeomancer. Gain 6. Play Archaeomancer.
Does he have enough mana, though, to cast Archaeo Monster, Treasure Cruise, and the Laboratory Maniac all in the same turn? I'm
not sure here. Well, this is resolved. And he's thinking about, okay, he's going to bring back... there might be a land just off camera, next to the 2 islands there. Okay, oh yeah, there it is. And he's going to return a forest, gain 6 more, and I think he played the forest even. Yeah,
so I think he was 1 mana short of going Pulse, Archaeo Monster, Treasure, Laboratory Maniac, Treasure Cruise.
There's a Malevolent Whispers on Marco both side. Can he take the Mahamotijin?
Actually, if Arne had not killed the Woodfall Primus on the previous turn, he would have had that extra land.
Yeah.
Maybe been a misstep.
Madness out, the Malevolent Whisper. But there's the foil that we talked about before. He discards the island, discards a Plume Veil.
What is this game?
Alright, and a big swing. Remember the Wildmonger is already a 3/3. There's 1 chomp block, there's another block. The rest is trampling over.
So that's a lot of trample, but Arne is still staying alive thanks to that double pulse, the life gain.
Yeah, but now he still needs something, right? Oh, he has another foil. Okay, there's a Lab Maniac. Does he have any card drawing spells to go for lethal here? He has Think Twice.
Think Twice, that does it.
Think Twice again, and that's it.
Wow.
Hushenbeth wins with Laboratory Maniac. Can he do it again, though? Because this was still only game 2, so we're gonna go to game 3. This game has me very excited. Remember, the winner is very likely to be in the top 8.
Wow, that was fun to watch.
Sick.
A really nice example of a deck with 1 game plan executed to the fullest.
Yeah, Arne's deck seems so much fun. It's not the triple spider spawning, but it's still...
No, but there are plenty of insta win cards in this format that you do have to build your entire deck around. But when it all comes together, it's beautiful to see.
Yeah, Kodama's reach for Arne as well. That's a very important card, especially when he's on the draw, so he can keep pace with Marco Baltz. But Marco is the generator servant. Can he power out like a big old Drazi here, or maybe the Woodfall Primus? But I do think it costs 8.
It costs 8 indeed, but that could come out on the next turn. Okay, this turn just an attack for 2, but yes, the Generator Servant in the deck with Woodfall Primus, in the deck with Artisan of Kozilek. It not only provides 2 mana to cast a creature, but also gives it haste. So that can lead to some pretty ridiculous sequences.
Yeah, let's see what Marco just attacked and passed the turn. Nothing on 5 here, unless he has some sort of instant. I don't see anything going on. Plenty of lands though. Arne has a bunch of lands of his own. I think I see a Stingerfling Spider in Marco's hand. That should be good against Mahamari Jins.
Yep. Yeah, he will. Well, he obviously didn't cast them yet. He's holding them for the pair of Jins.
There's Archaeomancer that returns to Kodama's reach, and Arne is setting up his mana.
Is it Woodfall Primus time?
Is it? There, it is not.
No, not prime time.
Yeah, we know. I mean, Woodfall Primus is no Primeval Titan, but still, it's a sizable threat. There's the Mahamoti Jin.
Get that Jin out of here.
Yeah, Stinger Fling Spider. Wax it off the air. Arne may be thinking about foiling here. He doesn't have an island. Maybe he's trying to bluff the foil. Maybe he doesn't have it.
If he had foil, I think this would be an excellent target.
Yeah, indeed. Has a Reviving Vapors now. That's a nice card draw spell. But he's going to probably start off with a Kodama's Reach, get more lands out of his deck, and he's building up.
It makes sense to thin your deck a little bit, get some extra lands out there before casting card draw spells. So just increases the density of non-land cards you can draw.
Yep.
I mean, generally speaking, that deck thinning effect is a bit overrated. But if you are playing a deck with this many card draw spells, like the increase in percentages does add up.
Indeed, there's Stingerfling Spider rumbles in for 2 here, but again, Marco Baltz just has a bunch of lands in his hand. He had that early Generator Servant and just hasn't been able to power any of his big threats. There's Reviving Vapors, finds Treasure Cruise, gain 8, then gonna draw 3 more cards.
Now Arne's deck is firing on all cylinders. This is what he was hoping for.
This is ridiculous.
And yeah, Marco is just not putting up any pressure. And you cannot give Arne this much time. If you do that, then he's just gonna draw his entire deck, cast the Laboratory Maniac, and just win that way.
I mean, at this point, like Arne, if Arne had one good thread like the Mahamoti Jin, even that would have been enough, because Marco Baltz has really drawn wretchedly in this game. Just only lands, and more lands. All right, Frantic Search discards 2 lands, of course. And they're gonna play the Treasure Cruise here.
I'm impressed that Arne kept Runesnag in hand. Not the best counter magic when the opponent already has 8 mana, but if Arne manages to put that Runesnag to good use this game, that would be fun to see.
Right, so draws 3 cards off the Treasure Cruise. He has Eternal Witness, of course he does.
You can just keep going.
Yeah, he has the Jin as well. He can play a land still. Yeah, there it is. And then the Jin, 5/6. Okay, Marco. Artisan. Reckless Worm's okay.
No, it's not big enough.
Yeah.
At this point, you are so far behind, and also with that Jin putting up defense, you need to draw, let's say, either Woodfall Primus or Artisan of Kozilek. Anything smaller than that is just not gonna cut it.
Yeah, there's the Reckless Worm. No problem, says Arne Huschenbed.
Alright, how many cards can we draw this turn?
A lot. Still, look, his grip is full of cards. I mean, he's running. How many? It's like 10? 10-ish?
I think a little bit more than that, but around that number, yes. Now, when you have Laboratory Maniac, you do have to be a little bit careful not to expose it to removal spells. Because imagine you draw your entire deck, the opponent bolts your Laboratory Maniac, and then you lose rather than win. There are several ways around that. Instant speed card draw, that's one. So that you play
the thing twice, for example.
Yeah, so that you play the Maniac on an empty library, then cast a card draw spell and have think twice to respond to any burn spell that Marco might play. And besides that, if the Laboratory Maniac would die a bit earlier, Arne does have Pulse of Murasa and Eternal Witness to get it back.
Yeah, this feels like a game of solitaire. There's Reviving Vapors. I think Arne possibly already thinking about the foil here as a counter spell to protect his Laboratory Maniac. He's running fairly low on cards. He has another Treasure Cruise in his hand as well. Yep. So he might go for the foil here. So
it's also a bit of insurance in case Marco would find an answer to the whole Laboratory Maniac plan.
Another card drawn. I mean, Arne has been really playing solitaire this game. Like Marco Both has like just drawn only lands. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, Arne has not been under any pressure whatsoever. But I think he also got the Laboratory Maniac pretty late in the draft, like 7th or 8th pick or so.
It's an uncommon.
But imagine this deck without the Laboratory Maniac. He just would have had no way to win apart from like a pair of Mahamoti Djinns might still work, but the presence of that single card in his deck completely changes his strategy. Oh, there's Living Lore, so maybe we can exile Treasure Cruise to create an 8/8. Also a sweet combo.
Yeah, look at so many cards. Arne's like, what should I be doing here? Someone help me, please. He can still play a land though, but he wants to keep an island in hand for the foil. He's probably going to go for the Living Lore.
I would just want to play the Living Lore just to get the 8/8 Living Lore accomplishment ticked off.
And you said he can't win a game without Laboratory Maniac.
okay, fine. There are some possible win conditions.
Yeah, look at that. Arne's already
he's
thinking
actually
about
attacking.
5 to face, and here's my 8/8. Yeah, Trump block. Maybe if maybe Marco thinking like if he draws an Artisan Kozilek, he can bring back the Spider. Yep, there's the 8/8 Living Lore. And he's going to have to discard 2 hand size, it looks like. The Range Assistant not thrilling in this stage of the game, and Rune Snack seems a bit too much.
I think Marco is mainly thinking about what he wants to get as dinner later tonight.
So discard the Rune Snack. He's going to keep the Derange Assistant for a while. Okay, Artisan Kozilek. Another land? What? This is utterly ridiculous. 5, 10, 11, 12 lands drawn from Marco. This game has been going on forever. He has drawn 12 lands from his deck.
Yeah, this was not Marco's lucky game.
Yeah, he did play Kodama's Reach, to be fair, so two of them were searched out, but still. You think like you play Kodama's Reach and you like want to thin your deck of lands, and you did say this effect was kind of overrated, but come on. Like,
yes.
I would imagine that over like 10 turns it does improve your odds.
The odds definitely improved, but there's still this small likelihood that you draw all lands. Unfortunately, that is where Marco is currently living. That said, at this point, if Marco would have drawn like 1 or 2 more spells, it probably would not have made a difference, because I just cannot see Arne lose from this position.
Come on, he drew his four. He literally had 14 lands at the end of this game. I mean, I'm all for Arne's deck being awesome and winning with Laboratory Maniac. This was one of the most ridiculous mana floods I've ever seen.
And then also one of his spells was like Generator Servant, which is effectively another mana card.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just not your lucky day.
Especially
it happens.
when your deck has Woodfall Primus, right? It would have been quite sweet, the Pattern of Rebirth on the Generator Servant. You can immediately sack it.
That's a sweet combo.
Find something. Yeah, like it looked like Marco's deck was pretty good. Like he's gonna get a chance next round. He's still on 12-2, but we think that Arne Hushman might be able to draw into the top 8. All right, we got some messages ready for you, but we'll be back with more Magic after this.